Welcome to HICGI News Agency.
HICGI News Agency Live. Welcome. Agency. HICGI News Agency.
This is HICGI News Agency.
News Agency. This is HICGI News Agency.
News Agency Live.
We are live. HICGI News Agency. This is HICGI News Agency. HICGI News Agency. This is on the shores of Lake Victoria, covering you and bringing you a specialized international event, the non-allied movement ministerial session happening here at the Commonwealth Peak Resort, Munyonyo. Uganda is privileged again to be hosting these important global focus events that are attracting hundreds and hundreds of high-level diplomats, nations being represented. We're about to go to day two. Of course, this convention started on Monday, and today we are on day three. Today we are expecting and we're seeing the arrival of the heads of delegation and of course a group photograph, as you can see, happening. President Museveni with his guests. The opening ceremony of the non-aligned movement officially by the President of Uganda has been about to see the welcome address by His Excellency General Odong J.J. Abubakar, Uganda's Foreign Minister of Foreign Affairs, and who's also the chair of the ministerial meeting of the NAM Coordinating Bureau. Welcome, of course, is going to be a moment of silence in honor of the leaders of the NAM member states who have passed away since the summit, which was held on 19th, 20th to January 2024. An address by the representative of the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres. Of course, last year he accorded also a very highlighting official representing him, and the address of the representative of the chairperson of the African Union Commission. Keynote address by General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who's also the chair of the summit of the non-allied movement. Adaptation of the agenda of the ministerial meeting of the NAM and the report by the chair of the senior officials meeting, and composition of the Bureau of Ministerial Meeting, report of activities of the chair of the non-aligned movement, interactive session for ministers and heads of delegation, and of course members of the committee of the UN SC NAM members and the NAM Troika. Welcome reception tonight by His Excellency General J.J. Odong, welcoming his ministerial delegates at the lectures, and of course on Thursday its end culminating will be a continuation of the preliminary session of the non-aligned movement ministerial meeting and interactive session for ministers and heads of the delegation, and closed sessions that will be for the adoption of the final documents of the midterm ministerial meeting of the non-aligned movement, limited by to member states, and of course Kampala final outcome document, which will also have Kampala declaration on Palestine, a motion of thanks to the host country in the closing ceremony. This is a very instrumental moment and shaping global political security affairs, as we are about to see several nations such as those even having security like Sudan raise their concerns here, and HICGI News Agency will continue to bring you more updates. My name is Chivumbi Ernest. Benjamin with an honorary doctorate in humanities, and on camera is Faith Barbara Rohinda. Subscribe to our website, hicgnewsagency.com, and our YouTube channel, HICGI News Agency. We are on Twitter, call it X, on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and many other platforms.
A warm welcome to His Excellency, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda and the Chair of the Non-Aligned Movement. Welcome to this 19th Ministerial Meeting of the Non-Aligned Movement. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, we will begin our program by observing a minute of silence in honor of leaders of NAM who have passed away since our last summit, and in particular, the death a few hours ago of one of our leaders, the former Prime Minister of Kenya, Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Thank you. Your Excellency, the President, allow me to invite the representative of the chairperson of the African Union, His Excellency Ambassador Musa Mohamed Omar, who will be followed by the representative of the United Nations Secretary General, His Excellency Mr. Hugh Zia, and then our Foreign Minister, Honorable Jeje Odong, will invite you to address our gathering, and then we'll proceed to the official group photograph, which will be strictly for ministers and heads of delegation, and protocol will guide us where the photo will be taken. Thank you. The AU can take the floor.
Excellence,
Your Excellencies, Yoweri Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Ministers of Foreign Affairs, ambassadors, civil servants, it is on behalf of the President of the Commission of the African Union, His Excellency Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, I take the floor because he could not personally attend this meeting, and he has asked me to represent him and to send his respectful greetings and warm greetings to His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, as well as his appreciation for his engagement in favor of a fairer world. I would also wish to express our thanks to the government and to the people, the brotherly people of Uganda, for their warm welcome and for the excellent conditions that were offered to our work. Excellencies, the President of the Commission of the African Union has bestowed on me the task of sharing some reflections on the vitality that the NAM has found again. It was weakened after the Cold War, but the movement has once again regained its momentum due to the unbalance that has been found in the international arena. This renewal can be seen in the growth reflection on the place for the global south in the international system that becomes more and more unfair, that is dominated by a weakened multilateralism. The global south is currently looking to reconfigure the world governance so that it really reflects its interests and so that it allows for a fairer participation of all states. Development aid, as it currently stands, has shown its limits. We have to build a new...
For more than 10 years, Keb International Group has been your #1 partner in tours and travel consultancy. We also do real estate, legal services, ICT services, and much more. Find us on kebinternationalgroup.com or write to us at info@kebinternationalgroup.com. You may also write to us at PO Box 35827 Kampala, Uganda, or visit us on Namaswahi off Entebbe Highway. Call us on +256 200937566 or +256 3948632 or 46. Or you can send us a plus on WhatsApp on +256 752 1375 66. Keb International Group, your #1 rail business partner.
New architecture, a new political architecture, economic and financial architecture that is based on agreements and co-responsibility. Those who benefit from the current world order are defending status quo, and the engagements that have been made in the international forums, such as the Paris Agreement after COP27, are not being... This situation, the unity of the NAM, is still our greatest strength. If we put our efforts in common and our vision with other frameworks such as the 77 plus China, we will be able to influence the construction of a new world order that is fairer. This ministerial meeting has to allow us to evaluate the progress that has been made since the 19th summit and to guarantee that we have concrete means that are mobilized to implement those decisions that have been made. And that has to go through endogenous policies movement, financing, in order to ensure a true strategic autonomy. The African Union reiterates its support to all of the countries and oppressed people who have been impacted by coercive measures, unilateral measures that go against the relevant resolutions of the UN. Those practices not only are hurdles along the way of development, but they weaken the foundings of peace, justice, and multilateralism. The African Union is resolutely engaged to multilateralism, solidarity south to south, and union of the African continent. We are happy to see this new momentum that can be seen in the NAM, which is the real catalyst of a world that is founded on justice, equality, and cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, as a conclusion, I would like to, on behalf of the President of the African Union Commission, my wish for successful deliberations so that this meeting can reinforce the union and the efficacy of collective multilateralism at the service of a more fair, juster world that is in peace and prosperous. Thank you very much for listening.
The next speaker.
Excellencies, Mr. Chair, Yoweri Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda and Chair of the NAM, His Excellency Jeje Odongo Abubakar, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Uganda and Chair of the Ministerial Meeting of the NAM Coordination Bureau, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear ministers, distinguished guests, all protocols observed, I would like to congratulate Uganda for its chairmanship of the movement of the non-aligned movement. It is a real pleasure for me to share these few words with you today on behalf of the General Secretary of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, who has tasked me with representing him here today. The Secretary General would have liked to be here today amongst you all, but prior engagements prevented him from coming here today and have not allowed him to share this day with you. And I also ask you to please receive his warmest greetings as well as his wishes for a very successful meeting. Mr. President, please allow me to thank Uganda's authorities for the excellent organization of this summit and for the brotherly warm welcome that they have shown to us since our arrival. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, ministers, distinguished guests, has contributed in a significant way to the efforts made to promote diplomacy, dialogue, and cooperation between the peoples of the South who aspire to be emancipated, and has engaged itself to economic development, a common development economy. And in that sense, I would like to
Aujourd'hui encore, alors que le monde est confronté
crises of different shapes and forms that weaken the current situation and that make the situation dearer to us, the deepened cooperation within the principles of the United Nations Charter comes to really show to us how important it is to respect and constantly promote solidarity, and dialogue. Along the years, the non-aligned movement has been an essential partner to the United Nations,
les préoccupations et les points de vue de ses membres, de nombreux axes de travail de l'organisation allant de la paix à la
of the work of the organization that go from peace to security to all of the environmental issues as well as development and human rights. I would also like to applaud the contribution of the non-aligned to operations, maintenance of peace, and their support to the rule of law, international cooperation, solidarity when faced with crisis, is held at a moment where the world is
Les défis subsistent sans être exhaustif. Je voudrais mentionner la montée inquiétante des courants,
worrisome increase of populistic trends and as well as extremist trends, and the environmental issues and climate worries, the countries, and those difficulties that are linked to debt and to access to implication of crisis and conflicts. On the other hand, we do see that there is a certain
et des appels de plus en plus nombreux en faveur de l'isolationnisme. Les normes qui ont défini la coopération internationale au cours des 80 dernières années.
The last 80 years are now being questioned. We find great difficulties in finding solutions to conflicts that are lasting. It is difficult to face climate change and growing inequalities and other threats that impact us globally. Now, with regards to an example or illustration, I would talk about the chronic instability that has been found in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo is currently impacting the whole region of the Great Lakes. The parties in the conflict still maintain their military operations, and we can see the tangible results of that situation in the suffering of the population. The humanitarian situation and the violations of human rights are still alarming, and we benefit from this opportunity to call all of the stakeholders to give priority to diplomatic solutions and to have a holistic approach, a regional approach that will allow us to tackle the deep causes of this conflict. In this perspective, we are calling for an immediate ceasefire and for the opening of humanitarian access to the region. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in this multipolar world we live in today, it is more than ever essential to have multilateral institutions that show solidity. We have to be resolutely engaged to continuing our efforts to benefit from multilateralism as a central vector to maintain peace and safety internationally, and to favor friendly relationships between the states and to guarantee human dignity for all. In this uncertainty period that we face, the NAM should continue playing an essential role to
Global Logistics Limited, your number one customs clearing and forwarding cargo consolidation warehouse company. We do air shipment, worldwide sea shipment, transportation, tax consultation. Logistics Limited is a competent company specializing in logistics, scaling and forwarding services. We have the necessary skills and resources and partnerships to tackle sizable projects to our clients' satisfaction. We are located at Mganzaraza Plaza near the entrance of Katwe, Kampala, Uganda. Call us on +256 779 634 328 or +256 701 784 648 or visit our website glovylogistics.com or write to johnglovy@gmail.com. Glovy Logistics Limited, your #1 clearing and forwarding company.
Promote peace, which is the condition for prosperity, and I thank you.
I thank the representative of the Secretary General. I now ask General Odongo.
Your Excellency, President Yoweri Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda and Chairman of NAM, Your Excellencies, the Ministers and Heads of Delegations, Your Excellencies, the Ambassadors, Your Excellencies, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, we know you are in the middle of your campaign trail. We are therefore honored that you have had to break it off in order to come and share with us words of wisdom and indeed to officially open the 19th midterm ministerial meeting. Your Excellency, it is my honor now to invite you to speak to us. Your Excellency, welcome.
The Honorable Minister Jejo Odongo, all the Honorable Ministers of Foreign Affairs and heads of delegations, the representative of the Secretary General of the United Nations, the representative of the chairperson of the African Union, all distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to Uganda. There is a prepared speech which will be distributed, but I will make my remarks without necessarily following that prepared speech. First of all, we are very happy that you have come to Uganda in such big numbers. Thank you so much. Secondly, we want to thank you for having honored us with chairing the NAM for this period. Thank you for putting so much trust in us. Thank you. When I look at what's happening in the world, I feel quite sorry because people are behaving as if life has just started. Yet, the human race has been here for 4.5 million years. Most of that time, the human beings were living only in Africa. So I normally like to joke with friends that all of you here are former Africans, all of you, because you all started here, but migrated out of Africa to populate other parts of the world. Now, in these 4.5 million years, we have two categories of problems. Category number one is oppression of man by nature. That's how it all started, where you have natural phenomena like floods, like drought, like a disease, like earthquake, like hunger, oppressing people. However, man, because of the intelligent brain, has been finding solutions along the way. Started by making primitive tools, solve some problems, then 1.5 million years ago, invented fire, and the invention of fire caused big changes in society. That's how people stopped from living in trees and started living in caves. And that's why we here in Uganda, we regard the development of science and technology as the primer of human change, of societies, of changes in society. So therefore, all this time, when the different societies improve capacity to control the extremes of nature, improve science and technology, domesticate agriculture, like happened many years ago, then invention of iron, then the invention of the steam engine, and the other subsequent changes, the Industrial Revolution, we should feel happy for the whole of humanity. We should not be selfish that we should monopolize technology and advancement and affluence. When China was transforming, although we were far from China, we benefited from the changes in China. I remember in 1986, the price of steel had gone down to $200 per ton. And when we were trying to develop our steel industry here, we were told that no, don't bother with the steel industry because there is no demand for steel in the world, that there is a glut, what they call the glut. There's too much steel for your industry to be economic. This was, however, false. Yes, there was a little demand for steel because at that time, prosperity was only in a small area of the world. Prosperity was in Western Europe, North America, and Japan. And that's why so the demand for modernization items was small because the beneficiaries were few. But when China started transforming, modernizing, and India and Vietnam and other Asian countries, and even Africa to some extent, when they started modernizing, the price of steel went from $200 per ton to $900. So the transformation in China, in Asia, in other parts of the world, directly affected us here. The price of copper went up, the price of steel went up, the price of cement went up a bit because of the changes that were taking place in other parts of the world. So therefore, it's not correct for people to mix up issues. I've told you that operation of man, number one, has been operation by nature. Here in Africa, we are still suffering from a bit of that. We get droughts, we get famine sometimes in some of the countries, lack of electricity, disease. We still have those burdens. But we are struggling to control them. Here in Uganda, we are struggling. Now, the second operation is operation of man, by fellow men. This came along when man was beginning to advance.
The power of memories has never been so meaningful than when time passes by. It's only in photography and videography that we can be able to tell what exactly happened in our lives. Do not lose the beautiful events of your life, from graduation to birthday parties, introduction ceremonies, parties that matter, wedding. All this and much more can be brought down into memories of photography and videography. At KEB International Group, we understand what it means to keep these memories. We're inviting you today to contact us for the best rates in town for your photography and videography events. +256 702 13 75 66 or +256 773 13 75 66. We will cover and reach you at any time, any part of the world. No matter the time, we are here to keep your memories alive. Okay, videography and photography, your #1 events memories.
Smaller groups of human beings started trying to control other groups. This is what causes now conflict among the human groups. So therefore, the two conflicts must all be well understood. Once there is advance in the control of nature through science, we should be very happy, and there should be no conflict. I don't see why anybody would worry that country X and B and C have come up out of poverty. They have come up, they are more prosperous. After all, if you want to do business, why do you want to do business with a poor man, a poor partner? How much would he buy from you? Why don't we want all our partners to be prosperous so that we can do better business? Business is production and consumption. If you produce and nobody buys, there will be no business. So it is very important for all of us to understand this dynamic of business has two sides, production and consumption. In Europe, when there was changes in Europe, after Adam Smith helped Europe to understand the efficiency of the private sector in his book of 1776, The Source of the Wealth of Nations, there was rapid growth of industries, but consumption remained stagnant. And in 1929, the capitalist system collapsed. Why? Demand. You cannot talk of business if you don't talk of the purchasing power of all your partners. If you look at the GDP of Africa now, I think it is like maybe 4 trillion now, but this is too small. If the GDP per capita of Africa was about 20,000, given that we are now 1.5 billion people here in Africa, you'd be talking of a GDP of 30 trillion. Why should Africa have a GDP of about 4 trillion now, when we are 1.5 billion? If the GDP per capita went to about 20,000, you can see, I think we would go to about 30 trillion. If it goes to 25,000, we would go maybe to 45 trillion. And our partners would benefit because we would buy more from them. So therefore, I salute the non-aligned movement. Our elders who started it did us a great service because they achieved a number of things. Number one, neutrality. At that time, there was a conflict between the socialist camp and the capitalist camp. And our elders said, no, for us we want to be neutral. We don't want to take sides. We want to judge issues on merit. And it helped us. And now, it is even more important. Because I can see there's a lot of intoxication. There's a lot of intoxication with the wrong ideas in the world. The ambitions of hegemonism will not work. If there is anybody who thinks he should control the world, he's wasting his time. How do I know this? The Pope, in the Middle Ages, tried to control Europe. The Pope, using Christianity, he tried to control Europe. It caused a lot of problems. There was what they called the 30 Years' War in Europe. When one of the kings of Europe, of England, wanted to become a Protestant, but the Pope would not allow anybody to change from Catholicism. You know how much chaos that caused. And in the end, the Pope failed. If you go to Europe now, to Rome now, the Pope is just in a small area called the Vatican. And yet he wanted to control the whole of Europe at that time. It can't work. Now, when capitalism came up, and I don't know why I would like to get time and talk to the Europeans, like I'm talking to you now, because the examples are very clear. When capitalism came up in France, the French Revolution, the capitalists took power in France, and they overthrew feudalism there. There was the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It had a leader called Metenic. Metenic now decided to go and defeat capitalism, to stop the emergence of the capitalist ideas. He failed and ended up by destroying Austria-Hungary. You ask anybody, where is Austria-Hungary now? It disappeared because it wanted to stop evolution of history, which is not possible. So therefore, we should concentrate on the minimum common interests in the world. This is my humble advice. I'm speaking to you as a third generation anti-colonial fighter from Africa. I came as the third generation of the 1960s, following our elders like Mandela and Nyerere and others of the 1940s, and the ones of 1912, who founded the ANC in South Africa. These were our grandfathers. So my advice to people in the world is that let's concentrate on minimum mutually beneficial interests. And these are trade, investments, tourism, and mutual support in any other area. Then where we don't agree, where we have got divergences, those are internal issues. And this is where my Christianity comes in. In the Christian religion, there is a portion which says, "Let your light so shine before men that they see your good deeds and praise your Father who is in heaven." In other words, if you think you are right, you do things properly in your own country, then people will come and see, this is a good example, and they will change. But not by coercion, not by fights, because it will not work, it has failed. I've quoted for you the Pope, I've quoted for you Metenic. Of course, I don't want to talk about the ones who tried to colonize us here, how it all ended up badly for them. Therefore, the issue of social systems should be for each country to decide which social system do you want. It's up to them to decide. But let's concentrate on the minimum common interest. Finally, let me salute our founders. I don't know whether the young generation knows them. And these were Nehru of India, Sukarno of Indonesia, Tito of Yugoslavia, Nasser of Egypt, Zhou Enlai of China was there in that meeting in Bandung. Then others joined later, like Mwalimu Nyerere, Kenneth Kaunda, Modibo Keita, and others. We salute those people. They gave us a good beginning. In my written speech, I go into the details of what the spokesperson of the African Union was talking about. But I'm very happy when I look around, see all of us together, I can see we may be the hope of the world. We people who are here will be the hope of the world. And I thank you for coming here, and I wish you good luck. Thank you so much.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going for a family group photo for strictly heads of delegations. We'll leave the room in an orderly fashion. Protocol will escort us.
For more than 10 years, Kebbi International Group has been your #1 partner in tours and travel consultancy. We also do real estate, legal services, ICT services, and much more. Find us on kebinternationalgroup.com or write to us at info@kebinternationalgroup.com. You may also write to us at PO Box 35827 Kampala, Uganda, or visit us on Namaswahi off Entebbe Highway. Call us on +256 200937566 or +256 39486 32 or 46. Or you can send us a plus on WhatsApp on +256 752 1375 66. CAB International Group, your #1 rail business partner.
Outside on the stairs where the photo will be taken.
So we can meet outside there. Okay, I'm coming.
The rest of us can proceed for lunch. His Excellency Mr. Hussein Al-Amin El-Fadil El-Had from Sudan. You have the floor, Your Excellency.
ويجب لنا أن نتقدم بعظيم تقديرنا وامتناننا للمجهودات الكبيرة التي بذلتها خلال رئاستها لمكتب تنسيق حركة عدم الانحياز وما قامت به من إنجازات خلال هذه الفترة بالرغم من التحدي. Il nous dira, cette junte a porté malheur au Mali. Elle est à l'origine, elle est le seul auteur et elle est le seul responsable de ce que sa requête vorace de pouvoir, pour le pouvoir, coûte à ce pays frère en instabilité, en insécurité et en régression économique et sociale. Au Mali, il y a cela et rien que cela. Le reste n'est que malheur dilatoire et acte de diversion de la part d'une junte mal inspirée dont personne n'est dupe. Je vous remercie.
Thank you, Algeria. I think we have exhausted the right of reprise. Now we will Iran right of reply.
The power of memories has never been so meaningful than when time passes by. It's only in photography and videography that we can be able to tell what exactly happened in our lives. Do not lose the beautiful events of your life, from graduation to birthday parties, introduction ceremonies, parties that matter, wedding. All this and much more can be brought down into memories of photography and videography. At KEB International Group, we understand what it means to keep these memories. We are inviting you today to contact us for the best rates in town for your photography and videography events. Plus 256 702 1375 66 or plus 256 773 1375 66. We will cover and reach you at any time, any part of the world. No matter the time, we are here to keep your memories alive. Keep videography and photography your number one events memories.
No country should claim ruling any other country. This has been the message of the President of Uganda and the chairman of the non-aligned movement, summit in Kampala, the ministerial summit, which has taken place at the Commonwealth Speak Resort, Munyonyo. Museveni saluted, as we just see, the founding fathers of the non-aligned movement, who gave a solid start in the fight against the influence of hegemony that emerged in the 1940s. Indeed, this failed approach shared global prosperity was challenged in history. According to him, Catholicism in Europe, Metenic in Austria, Hungary, not to mention those who tried and who succeeded temporarily in colonizing Africa and the rest of the world for a little, but their end was badly unto them. Museveni also says is looking at the turnout of momentum under the theme of deepening cooperation for shared global prosperity, and he feels strongly as a third generation anti-colonial fighter from Africa, and he has a lot of hope for the world. He has thanked the 121 countries around the world that have honored Uganda, giving it opportunity to lead this great movement over the past year. And he looks forward to focusing on the world's minimum common interests. These include trade, investment, tourism, security, and so on, based on the understanding that the advancement of a nation or one nation through technology and other means is not for threat, but an opportunity for the rest of the world. For example, he says that in the past we were discouraged from processing our minerals, citing low global demand. However, this low demand was due to a small circle of beneficiaries. The emergency of China and other economies changed the landscape, with prices, for example, of steel rising from 200 US dollar to 900 US dollar, creating opportunities for the rest of the world, and much more these revelations are taking place. HICGI News Agency has been honored to be able to bring you these important global events happening. My name is Chivumbi Ernest Benjamin, with an honorary doctorate with Barbara Hinda on the camera.